And you ain't black.
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
The Project 2025 plan is not a game. Look it up.
False allegations.
Get locked in and stay locked in. This is the LJeh Show.
Welcome. There we go. Welcome to the LJeh Show, everybody. Thank you for joining us right here at the KLRJ Studios. I am your host, LJ Johnson, here on the LJeh Show. If you are not commenting, if you haven't not heard about the open mic, you need to. You're hearing about it right now. Tonight, Coffee Slingers, 8 p.m. Doors open. 10th to Broadway, 1015 North Broadway. Get down there at 8 p.m. Coffee Slingers Christian Open Mic Night happening tonight. It's going to be a great time. I got a special guest. He's not really a guest. He's been here before. Mr. Derwin Romani, the Blexic State Director. I'm sorry, State Chair.
State Chair now. We changed the name. Yes.
Yes, State Chair. State Chair. So guys, I'm sorry. I've been gone for a while. I'm back now. I do promise to put a show out. I know people on TikTok have been waiting for me to get back to actually doing a show, and but I'm here now, and I'm so glad to be with such a great man, one of the great voices in Oklahoma as far as the conservative movement goes, you know, in my opinion, and so I think the proof is in the pudding if you know this man. But this is the LJeh Show. Thank you for joining. Remember, you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and X as well. If you missed the show, download the show, the Apple or iTunes. That's the same thing. Apple, Google, Amazon, wherever you listen to your podcast, iHeart, wherever you listen to the podcast at, download the show. Stream the show on YouTube and Rumble as well. If you want to support the show, go to I'll put the Patreon link in the description. Derwin, so I want to talk about Juneteenth. Okay. So what I know about Juneteenth is basically when Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation that freed the slaves, then the 13th Amendment happened, and that freed the slaves. Okay, nationally, but the slaves in Texas didn't know, and so the government sent the army down there to basically tell the Texas government, hey, you need to let them go, right? And that happened on June 19th. I forgot what year it was, but so that's what I know about June 19th. Okay, so it's somewhat of it's a celebration, okay, of those the things that transpire with that, and but I personally feel like it's a Texas celebration, not a national celebration. I think nationally we should be celebrating July 4th as a nation, but I don't have I'm not like what President Trump said. Like there's too many non-working holidays. Now I don't know if he was talking about Juneteenth. He could have been talking about President's Day. I don't know which one he was talking about. But I remember when I was a federal employee, I loved all those holidays because I got to go home, not do anything. And which a lot of federal employees, they don't really do nothing anyway. But that's another show. And I'm saying it because I used to be a federal employee.
Correct.
But so Juneteenth, that's what I know about Juneteenth, and it's a celebration of that. And really, when the black community in America gets together, it's supposed to be the one celebration we have outside of Black History. Even though I got my own thoughts of Black History Month, I don't believe we should have this one month. I believe that Black history is American history. So I don't. That's how I think about Black history. But that is normally the time that we have the festivals in the Black community, urban community, concerts, and just a big celebration weekend or whatever. My question is, so we had two events that happened at Oklahoma City and Tulsa, and I just don't understand. Is that a byproduct of a bigger issue? Like, we can't get together and celebrate this June 19th. We still gotta find ways to hurt each other, because we already hurt each other enough. Right. If you look at the numbers, you look at the crime stats. My degree was criminology at the University of Oklahoma, and I love looking at crime stats. That's all I'll every now and then I pull up the UCR and check it out. It's the same. Okay. There is a such thing as black on black crime. But is what happened? Is it a example of a bigger problem that hasn't been solved? Like we don't really talk about the actual problem.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be here again today. But I'm going to address this in a manner that is a little lighter on the spirit,
Okay.
if I may.
Yeah.
It behooves me to address this in this way. I'm going to hit it with a spiritual understanding out the gate.
Okay.
People that are students and scholars of the Old Testament will appreciate this. If you look at the manner of the way that the Hebrews were brought out of bondage by God, many and multiple times they continue to repeat bad behavior and started worshiping and following the pagan behavior of their oppressors and slave masters. When you look at the sojourn of black people in the United States of America, coming out of bondage and slavery of 400 years of servitude, chattel slavery, something that has been around the world, but there was a different version of it in America, we must admit.
No, it wasn't excellent at all.
It was very, very bad. Just to cut from that explanation and jump right into the buffoonery.
Yeah.
The shenanigans and the buffoonery that has surrounded the black race in our effort to celebrate and liberate ourselves and be included into the proper script of the American history has been clouded by the minions and the buffoons and the spiritual eunuchs, I like to call them. And when I say spiritual eunuchs, these people have come up under a form of witchcraft. So you were espousing on the violence. Let me just address the violence real quickly.
Yeah. When you say eunuchs and
Yes,
what was the other word you used?
Minions.
Minions. Okay, you talking about these people?
The Project 2025 plan is not a game. Look it up.
Yeah, those people.
These are. I'm a little dated, so
Yeah.
I used to watch Captain Kangaroo and Puff the Magic Dragon and Barney the Dinosaur. Hey, these people, if it wasn't so serious, it would be comical. You have no validity to anything you're saying. So I just want to touch on this very, very, very quickly.
Okay.
I encountered someone on Facebook just recently.
Yeah.
This is how far gone we are, because I'm trying to bring this all together. This is how far gone that we are, Lawrence. When the shootings happened,
Yeah.
they came with the baby diaper wipes solutions. Baby diaper wipe solutions.
What do you mean, baby diaper wipes?
Well, if they had, I noticed in my analyzation, if they had more things to do, there was a lot of young people running around, and there were a lot of juveniles running around with nothing to do.
I did hear that.
It's deeper than that.
I did hear that.
Well, let's. You don't want to go down the list. We don't have time in this in this dialogue. That's another day. But we can go down the list of your analysis and your original question. What is going on here?
Yeah.
When you think that the solution is playing 3-on-3.
Yeah.
Or they could have been playing chess. If they had something to do, maybe they wouldn't have been shooting anybody. Now, I'm going to take a hard turn right here. A masculine male mentor is what these kids need. A
That's
masculine
exactly what they
male
need, yeah.
mentor in the spirit of Christ,
That's
a man
exactly
of
what they
God.
need.
It says in the scriptures, how should they know unless they have a teacher? You still want to put these baby wipe solutions around and blame it on the white man. It's the white man's fault. But you followed these leaders that have taken you for 50 to 60 years down a road that is you're just running in a circle right now.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so these leaders are getting paid. They actually have a name for them. These are exploiters of black suffering. So they come out with these big fancy words, and then they tie it into trauma. And here's some of the key ones. They start gaslighting. They have masking, trauma bonds, complex PTSD, and then they pour all this as excuses. I say it again, as excuses for black bad behavior. But if you are not
You
raising,
said trauma is one of them.
oh man, we were traumatized since slavery.
No, you traumatizing your house.
Right.
About how you been raised.
Right.
Yeah, you wasn't a slave.
You think that
Nobody living was a slave.
You think that if you're playing 3-on-3 basketball,
Yeah.
and I have animosity for you,
Yeah.
You thought that playing patty cake baker's man, if I see you, I'm gonna try to murk you because we have beef.
Yeah.
The beef is real. It is entrenched in that. I'm trying to t-shirt and balloon you. This is so preposterous. And when you look at the ones that the Marxists try to give the money to or to give the resources to, I'm going back to that Old Testament again. These were like false prophets yelling in the wind. The children are not listening to them.
Right.
They're not listening to you. Your solution is solved. So here we go again with the rebellion. Over and over and over, the people of God, the Hebrews, refuse to admit and submit that they were wrong. This is
Right.
black people today. They refuse in mass. There's some of us out there that get it. There's some of us out there that are trying, but they refuse in mass to get rid of these antiquated and decadent solutions. I'm gonna say it again: antiquated and decadent solutions.
What do you mean by solutions? What? Like you said, you said like a male role model. Like working with kids, I know for a fact that is a solution. I think, especially for boys, that is the solution. That if they don't have a father at the home or a father that knows what good leadership skills looks like. Yeah. So, what other solutions were you referring to?
When you're talking about authenticity,
Yeah.
human nature is also connected to emotional connection, emotional intelligence. I actually do some training as the life coach called confidence coaching.
Okay.
Before I ever had the little title and the little degrees and all that,
Yeah.
I was already out there with men. I always had a persuasion and a way to connect with men, young men. I always been able to connect with us as a people. So when you don't not have the ability to be able to connect to people in that manner, they can't feel you.
Yeah.
So here we go again with authenticity. When your voice bounces off another man's chest. So say sometime when I be in environments around women that have children without having a father in the house, and that child is 8 to 12 to 13, that child will look at his mother, look at her with a feeling of, is it okay? As long as I'm in that surrounding area talking around the mother, the child immediately and continuously comes over to the man. He's trying to see what you're saying. He's trying to see your body. Even humans are animals. Every species mimics its adults to see how to go. The bird is not going to leave the nest until it sees another bird. If you constantly have, I've did a study on this, and it's my it's my analysis. When you look at a lot of African American males,
Yeah.
straightforward. When you look at their mannerisms,
African American males.
right?
Yeah.
I have come to the conclusion that after generation after generation after generation of this buffoonery of blaming everything on the system, where we have drunken, the system has did some very heinous things to us. I'm not excusing them at all. But we have become under some type of spell and witchcraft where we cannot be accountable for none of our behaviors. We don't want to go back to the drawing board and admit that maybe we did something wrong 50 years ago, and maybe some of this stuff that we're regurgitating does not work. So when you have a man, say such as you and I, you have to fight against that, because that's not the solution. And then the deaths just keep going. They keep going because as the people hollered in the wilderness, there was a prophet out there. There was a messenger out there. There was someone that had the message and had the ability to connect with the people. But since you wanted to hold your church down, you wanted to hold your political position down, you wanted to hold your activism position down for the gain of financial gain or the gain of celebrity, this is, again, I go back to that Old Testament. You had all these prophets, and God would bring in the one who had the healing balm. And when the one that had the healing balm, you fought against him. You fought against him. And now, Derwin, he has a pass. Oh, that's the one that need to be at the Berry House. The masculine man.
Well, that's the one that they'll listen to.
Yeah, they listen to him because you've already been there
like
and
me,
done
me
that.
going in there is not. That's one of the reasons I don't do prison ministry, because I just can't relate, and I don't personalize, empathize with them. I don't have enough empathy. I don't feel like I have enough empathy for prison ministry. Guys like my friend Trinity Trey and other people I know that do prison ministry, they have the empathy that you need to do prison ministry or do the Berry House, something like that. Now, I would do better at the Berry House because I've been a young boy before that's done delinquent activity, but I didn't get caught.
I believe you have to have both. You have to have, so like I can stand next to a police officer. You could take a woman that used to be on drugs and maybe had sold her body and stand next to a nurse. And then the nurse say, hey, I was one step for going away because of some guy who thought he was a pimp. Almost threw me off course and I didn't go to medical school. So you telling both stories. So I'm not here to promote and just say, people that have been there and done that are the only avenues. But when you strategically, Lawrence, when you strategically put these people on that got on diapers running around like they're diaper man and acting those like they ain't nobody, them kids are smart. They 15. They just pretty much, they say, hey man, that's a sissy.
Well,
what am I gonna follow him for?
Well, yeah, I mean, we know there's a reason why at the Juneteenth and at the parade, I left the parade, the championship parade. I left the parade around like 12 or something like that. As soon as they got to Citrusdale Park, I was out of there. Me and my daughter, we left. But I guess people stayed way after, like late at night. But the shooting and all that fighting and stuff, and when the young lady lost her life, those are kids. So we know from the Juneteenth and that situation being kids, we know it's the reason why. Okay, and we also know that the community does not want to talk. Then the community leaders, the people that you're talking about, and me and you both know who these people are.
Correct.
They don't want to have this conversation. They want to do what you said. Well, they don't have anything to do.
Oh man!
What are they? I mean, they're downtown. I mean, what do you mean they don't have anything?
And I believe in opportunities and stuff like that. But I was a man, so this is where I can bounce back on them and destroy that deranged, satanic, demonic philosophy.
That's what it is.
What they're throwing out there. Hey, I was a managed child. They call it juvenile delinquents back then. They called it incorrigible. Some of those words need to be brought back into the lexicon. I was just bad. Point blank. It's no excusing it. Yeah. I had proper direction. I had people telling me, even if you come from the worst family, somewhere in your life, a teacher a pastor, someone is encountering you.
It's somebody.
Somewhere somebody plants that seed to give you an opportunity. Say, hey, you could come over here, but you all have a choice.
Yes.
So when you look at it, it is a systematic thing because they was giving some numbers not too long ago. Most children are not even with their parents, but so many hours a day. Period. You drop them off, you pick them up, you drop them back at the school, you take them home. They say by the time you feed them, you're putting them in the bed. You're not even monitoring them. So they spend more time being indoctrinated.
Yeah. If you let them.
Being indoctrinated
Yeah.
by forces that's going to have them all screwed up. And then when they all screwed up, well, that's what I was going to a while ago, and I stopped. So when you take a male,
Yeah.
when you mix testosterone with femininity,
Yeah.
that don't mean that the person is acting gay. That doesn't mean that they're acting in a homosexual manner at all, what I'm saying. But when you've been around nothing but women that have been indoctrinated and victimized themselves, and they're spitting this venom. These are what the leaders, you was talking about the leaders. The leaders know this witchcraft because they're profiting off of this, and call it what it is. It's a pimp game.
Race hustling.
Yeah, you're a race hustler. This is a pimp game because if I make you feel like the victim and I have you chasing all these psychological and mental things that you suffer from, like, oh, well, that's complex PTSD, that's love bombing, that's gaslighting, oh, that's masking, that's a trigger, that's a trigger warning. Hey, now watch out now, Lawrence.
No, those are the excuses that they're
Lawrence,
using.
now,
right?
Lawrence, I don't like the hat you got on there now. Now, Lawrence, that's a trigger.
He gave it to me. Hey, that's what I always tell people. Like when they ask about, well, he gave it to me.
That's a trigger warning.
Why wouldn't you take the hat from a president of the United States?
Male masculinity, now you're toxic. You're very aggressive.
You know what?
You pop down now. You pipe down because I see demons everywhere.
You know, it's the same thing as Christian nationalism. Like I got called a Christian nationalist the other day, and I'm at the point now. Okay, just like that, and toxic masculinity. Okay, call me Christian nationalist. Okay, call me toxic masculinity. Whatever. I don't care. Just go, because all the definitions that people use is just so outlandish and crazy. So just call me whatever you want. I don't care, because a lot of it's based in emotionalism. Just crazy. Crazy emotionalism.
And when I can play with your emotions, boy, I can run you anywhere.
Yeah.
Hey, look over there. Hey, somebody posted on my Facebook. It was kind of funny. It had this split screen within 6 months.
Yeah.
The Marxists, the deranged Marxists, they have jumped to 4 different issues. You know, it changed every month. First it was the Palestine thing, and then it was Elon Musk, and he's taking over, and then now, you know, they all the way down to you didn't ask permission to go bomb Iran. You know, they don't
have to.
Right, and every president since World War II has did that, but they don't even listen to facts now. So they get all of it's about emotions, and everybody is picking on me. You're picking on me. So that makes you psychologically and emotionally unbalanced.
Well, I say this, then we got to get to Jamal Bryant. I mean, same thing. Jamal Bowman, not Bryant, but they the same people, really, when you actually look at it. But the thing about him asking for permission, you know, and all these Marxists and race hustlers, they're all about what can we do to take away your thought of common sense and logic. Right? Common sense and logic will tell you that's a 4-star general up there giving a briefing, giving a report. This person is not going to just do something. He's not going to tell the president something without a Inspector General JAG or something like that. Somebody like that telling him what to do. Like if it's good to do or not, if it's legal or not. Is this against this U.S. code? Is it not against this U.S. code? Is it against the Geneva Convention? Is it against NATO? Is it against the UN? So common sense and logic will have you to just sit there. Okay, wait a minute. That's a 4-star general up there. You know, yes, you don't like President Trump. You don't like Secretary P. Heskett. I think that's how you say his name. But this is a 4-star Air Force general that's running this mission. The United States military, you can't just do what you can't just send some jets just to bomb a place.
If it wasn't so serious, it'd be comical because the daily the ones that they follow that they keep putting in front are more comical every day. The stuff they say you could just eat it apart because it's buffoonery.
Right. All right, let's Jamal Bowman, the failed congressman, well, after two terms.
Failed congressman.
Yeah, he was he was kicked out. He was voted out, and he didn't get to the primary. And he's the one that pulled the fire alarm. If me and you pulled that fire alarm, we wouldn't be talking to each other right now. We'd be under the jail. Yeah.
They reward their Marxist criminals like
we'll be under the jail, bro.
Like the mayor of L.A. was pardoned and she threw a bomb and organized the bomb in Washington, D.C. Oh, yeah. We need to go back. Man, I'm going to get on Pam Bondi. I'm going to get on her bumper, man, when I get a chance to be in proximity of her, because I already been sending her stuff on what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Here's a masculine male mentor without having to tell on anybody, showing you how I've stopped multiple shootings and violent acts because I can talk to men.
Right. Let's check out Jamal Bowman. He was. This is about the winner of the Democratic primary, the socialists, and you know what? I respect the guy. He came out. Hey, I'm a socialist, and I want $30 minimum wage, and I want to freeze the rent, and he just coming out and saying, I want this to be like Venezuela. No, he didn't say he want to be like Venezuela, but that's what it's going to be. But so they're talking about this, and then Jamal Bowman does what race hustlers do best.
And anti-LGBTQ sentiment. We are not dealing with that. Your colleagues in the Republican Party do not hold each other accountable when it comes to the racism that comes from the party on a consistent basis.
Congressman, I mean, where are you on
You
the
can't be calm
assassination
about
attempts?
this. I'm a black man in America. The reason why heart disease...
I'm white, I can't comment on
Listen
that?
to what I'm
Is that
saying.
what
The
you're
reason
saying?
why heart disease and cancer
pretty
and
racist to
obesity
suggest I can't
and
comment on it.
diabetes are bigger in the black community is because of the stress we carry from having to deal with being called the N-word directly or indirectly every day. If your colleagues would listen and try to learn and engage and grow and stop being so hateful, we could have a better country.
Jamal,
but unfortunately, we're still here.
The hate's coming from one
Jamal, I feel your passion and I understand where you're coming from sincerely. I really, really do. It happens on both sides, Jamal. You might think it happens more on your side.
Dog,
Jamal, when I leave the show, Jamal, you should see my Twitter feed. I mean,
and it's disease.
Because you called me the N-word, I came back away from the table. Because of the stress and the trauma.
It's emotionalism. It's like, I will admit, like, when I first did this show, the pilot episode, I explained what happened to me in the job I had before the last one I left. I left that one because I felt like at the time it was a racist comment towards me, a racist situation. We were talking about Robert E. Lee. It was during the riots, the George Floyd riots. I was kind of in between conservative and liberal.
And it could have been, and it probably was racist.
Yeah. And so we was talking about Robert E. Lee, and then basically he said, well, I don't see what the problem with Robert E. Lee. My boss, what's wrong with Robert E. Lee? What's the problem with him? And we all looked at him like, it was me and two other white guys, like my so this is the main, the biggest, like the main boss that said this. Then my supervisor and then the mechanic, we all looked at him like, what are you talking about? Why would you ask that question? Then he said it again, what's wrong with Robert E. Lee? And then everybody left, and I was still there because I had 2 more hours to work. And then I started crying and bawling, and I called HR. I told him what happened. I told him that I don't understand why he would say something like this. I've been working so hard. I'm a black man. I'm in the Army and all this stuff. She said I can leave for the day. And then she said I could take a week if I wanted to. So I left for the day, and then I could have been gone for like a week or whatever. I could have quit, but I just came back to work the next day. I think I took a day or something like that. But I think I took a day off, and then I came back to work, and then the HR made them apologize or just talk to me about it or whatever, and they didn't, because it wasn't direct, like calling me an N-word or something like that. So that's not nothing. I think now it would be a fireable offense, some companies, like some corporations or whatever, but they didn't fire him. But I don't know if he works there anymore now. But I ended up leaving. Okay, I ended up leaving. I found another job. But when I look back at something like that now, I would be instead when he said, "Well, what's wrong with Robert E. Lee?" I would have a conversation with him. I would go down and list the historical facts. I would have a back and forth debate with him. I wouldn't get all emotional about it. And it's because I've grown more in my relationship with Jesus Christ. I've grown more in my knowledge in history, American history, and just being a man, right? My masculinity. Oh, I'm not saying masculine. I'm just saying because that's the word. What the world will call it. Mm-hmm. Okay, I would just have a debate. I would just go back a friendly debate. Yeah, I disagree with you. I think it's crazy. And if a white man walked in here and called me the N-word, okay, that's your opinion. But why you think that? And like, where you get that understanding from? Like, where you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, my day is ruined. It's not ruined. It's I mean,
you're gonna go get 5 bags of Doritos and eat some dip and just go crazy because you lost it. So back to when you was talking about the testosterone and the femininity. So all these gentlemen that have been raised years and years after years by women, they kind of unbalanced. Do you see his body language? If you even look at Juneteenth, and then LBG, and then they're always, and then if you notice that every time you turn on the TV now, the demasculation of black men is the number one thing.
Yeah,
like, put him up there and look at
anybody that's training, anybody that's like,
put him up there and make him look like he's he's feminine.
When I turn my TV on, the RuPaul takeover is like the main ad. That's
right.
On
so now when you look at this, you have been made the mascot. I'll talk about this more in depthly than we got time to talk about it now.
Yeah,
black rights, black issues, black liberation has become they're nothing but mascots for the white supremacist liberals movement. I'm gonna say it again. They're nothing but mascots and paid supervisors for the takeover, because y'all are not running anything anymore. You didn't even have Juneteenth to yourself. They had to throw some, I call it, I got my own names for it. They had to throw some bootyism off in there, some biology. They had to throw some freaky deaky stuff off in there with your Juneteenth and make those are connected.
Yeah.
So I know a very famous man, people may agree with him or may not agree with him. This lecture I listened to over 30-something years, well, I would say 30, over 20-something years ago. Farrakhan saw that way back then and he pointed it out.
Uh-huh.
He pointed that out in the late 80s, mid 90s. He said they are slowly but surely attaching themselves to all your movements. And before you look up, you will be nothing but a puppet, he said. And that's who you got for your leaders. I'll give you a baby example like this gentleman right here. They call it throwing you a bone.
Yeah.
So you see some of these black leaders around us locally. They're throwing them a bone for their leadership to be able to lead the sheep astray.
Yeah.
Because the white supremacist liberals, I will say it again, the white supremacist liberals, Malcolm X, I see so many conservatives that have rediscovered Malcolm X because they'll see when he talked about the fox, right? So your whole intention, I was talking to a lady not too long ago, she admitted it. I say, when y'all get all this nonprofit grant money, even for the things that are going on over the east side, do you know your guard, the people that have to look over you, the person who has to be the supervisor, the person that has to run the plantation, they give the $1 billion grants to white women. 72%. Remember I said that the last time.
That's just like DEI.
Yeah. Oh. Inclusiveness is only inclusive as long as you don't have a separate opinion. So when you see all this stuff attached to feminine behavior, you have demasculated black men. And if you say anything that goes against the narrative, then you can't make money. So here's what they do. Say like some of our local leaders.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we got noise pollution. They throwed you a bone because the Olympics is coming here, and they make it look like you have great power, you have great handle on the east side. Man, the white folks just throwed you a bone. So quit talking about white people. You working for them to do the gentrification of the east side while you steady screaming black power. So this is how it gets
Which
confusing.
is a myth. I don't.
That's
I
a
don't really
myth.
believe in gentrification.
Yeah.
I mean, do we want the community to look better or not? You know, and yes, people don't have money for certain things, but that's part of the choices that we make. Like, I don't have money to live in Galardia. I wish I did. But I have made the right choices to do that right now.
Right.
But I'm not going to blame nobody else.
Right.
That's my fault.
Right.
You know, so but that's just my little rant on gentrification.
No, that's real. So when you look at this stuff, these are what they call throwing them a political bones, so they can make these puppets, these minions. These eunuchs, these spiritual eunuchs, but they have no spiritual power. That's why, if you notice that most churches don't have a lot of black men in them. Because sometimes your message is not geared toward black men. And then you wonder why the solution is they run around in the street shooting up everything.
Yeah.
Because you didn't try to defeminize them. And then sometimes they regress you. Since you want to study something and analyze something so well, quit trying to make these little boys into wimps. And then when they get away from you and rebel, and then they go out and get with some masculinity in the wrong way, they go out in the streets and find that masculinity. They find that so-called OG. They find that bigger person, that person that can send them on these crash dummy missions to ruin and destroy their whole lives. And then you wonder why. And you come right back into the table whining and crying, saying, this is what we should do.
Yeah.
And you come back with this same watered down, soft solutions.
Yeah. I think not making sure boys practice accountability and self-respect and respecting each other and things like that and leadership skills, I think that is pushing femininity on them. Right, that's something that boys really, really need to have. Because every time I see a kid or somebody that I know that's really getting in trouble in the law, that's in the system or something like that, because I've worked with kids at Mission OKC that's in the system and whatever. It's all about, well, I didn't do nothing. That wasn't me. No, man, no. Whatever it is, like, stop cussing. Man, you ain't gonna say that to him. It's about you.
They don't have accountability anymore.
It's about you, you know, because they're not getting it at home. Right? I got it at home growing up. You know, I had the right sentences. I got whoopings and all that stuff, and I still chose the wrong thing when I was like 19, 20 years old. But I at least remembered it. Okay, I had something to hold on to. But they don't get it. But I think not making sure the young men, young boys are accountable for their own actions and not blaming people, not blaming things, not blaming situations. I think that's very, very important as their growth as men. And we need more men to stand up and mentor them. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not getting it at home. They're not getting it at home. And a lot of them are growing up in single mother homes. And I'm not against single mothers at all. And I believe that there should be more programs to help single mothers understand that they need to find an uncle or somebody like that that's really got their life together and put their sons around them. But
now we going back to we repeating and we regurgitating the same thing. When I manage, some of these words need to come back into the lexicon.
Yeah.
Wedlock, manage, juvenile delinquent.
they're in my lexicon.
So when people don't like to use these words and say, oh no, we have to use these words, some of the ones I read off today. You know, all these psychological mumble jumble terms that I can hide behind and pimp you off of and run programs off of and do the check the box game and blame you when you don't have any accountability as a black person. Well, you suffer from slavery, and then that's why you traumatized, and that's why you didn't do your homework, and that's why you went over and slapped somebody for no reason at all.
Well, you know, when you try to have a conversation with them, they just
and you ain't black.
That's what they say that we not black. You know, but. I just well, tell me how.
I was thinking,
well, you know.
I thought about that when one of the deranged activists was trying to encounter me in an area in a way that could have been very detrimental to him.
Yeah.
And he didn't, just through the Spirit of Christ, it didn't happen. But you have not even been close to what I have been through, facing death. When I think about some of the things I faced in my life, real death,
right?
And you run around getting a check, playing a game as a race hustler and explorer of black suffering. Oh yeah, every time somebody gets shot, boy, you right there. Oh man, we need to do more of this. Suck some more money out. That's not working with black people. Need to get accountability.
That's it. It's because
accountability.
We need to fix our homes. We need to fix the teaching in our homes because we rely on everything outside the home to fix us, and it's not going to get the job done because every other ethnic group, every other race, whatever you want to call it, is fixing their homes. They're worried about what's inside their homes. Worried about the family, nuclear family, things like that. So, yes, we talk about legal aliens, illegal undocumented immigrants. Well, that's two different things. Is it? I think, that's two different things.
It can be.
It can be. I'm reading the book on the biblical worldview on immigration right now. But the Hispanics are more into family. Okay? Now, I work with Hispanics. I do ministry with them and stuff. And they're just more in the family. They're more into the nuclear family. They're helping each other out more. And they're worried about what's going on inside the home. Now they got the crime, they got their own problems, they got the MS-13s and all that stuff, and the gangs and the Chicago and all that. But they are more into family. Okay, they
before I came here, I thought about this because I was sitting in the car and I had pulled up to a fast food place, well, convenience store, not a fast food place.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I used to go there.
Yeah, so I had pulled up there to get something to eat, and I said and saw this Hispanic gentleman. I don't know where he was from. I just know he was Hispanic. He pulled up and went to the ice machine. But his son jumped out the truck, too, immediately. He's already trained and started grabbing ice. I didn't see the dad say anything. The young son immediately jumped out the truck when his father came out the store and went to the ice machine to get ice. The young boy already knew the work ethic to get out there and go help and grab some ice. So we like to, again, we keep blaming it on somebody else and it's us.
Yeah. And I remember when I was in, I never worked at Metro Tech. I was at Metro Tech for something. I don't know what I was there for. I think it was Metro Tech or Rose State. Well, I went to Rose State, but I forgot which one of those schools was, but a grandma brung her grandson up there, and she was trying to help him get enrolled, and she was doing all the talking, explaining all the paperwork, and he wasn't like dyslexic, he wasn't disabled, he just didn't know. He just was not being forced to know.
How should they know unless they have a teacher?
Yeah,
scripture. That's scripturally sound.
So that's another problem too. But I don't want to. We don't want to upset Miss Harris.
Don't start talking like a Republican.
But Derwin, thank you for coming on today, guys. This is the LJeh Show. We're gonna try to do many of these as we can. Derwin, you got anything else you want to say? Well, we got about 5 seconds. Y'all
have a safe day, and take your sons around masculine men.
Yeah. Do that. All right, guys, it's the LJeh Show. Follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and X. And check us out on YouTube as well. Check me out on the Patreon at the LJeh Show if you want to support. This is LJeh Johnson. We'll talk to you guys later.
It's the LJeh Show.